You're lying awake tonight, staring at the ceiling, your mind racing. Am I failing? Am I just spinning wheels? You scroll through feeds, comparing your life to others' highlight reels. You feel lonely, exhausted, hollow. Deep down, you know something is missing, but you can't quite name it. You, who works tirelessly, who chases goals, who keeps a stiff upper lip, you deserve a moment where your heart whispers, "I'm okay." And yet, happiness eludes you. Tonight, I want to walk with you into that ache, to hold up an ancient mirror next to your modern life and ask, is this what joy really feels like? Or have we lost the way in our race to succeed? From dawn till dusk, the gears of modern life click and clack. Deadlines, ambition, hustle culture, social media validation. We are pushed to perform, to optimize, to commodify ourselves. We compare follower counts, salaries, impact. We believe that happiness is just the next accomplishment. And if we don't get it, it's our own fault. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more we chase, the farther it slips. The grind seduces us with purpose, but often hides a vacuum behind it. Because when you define your worth by external metrics, you become hostage to them. And so many of you feel like imposters. You force yourself to smile. You pretend to be okay. You hoard anxiety in your bones. You shout, "I'm fine," when the world is fragile beneath your hands. This is the context you live in, the modern trap. We worship productivity, but we starve our souls. What if I told you that 2,500 years ago, people were asking the same question? How should I live? What is a flourishing life? Plato imagined a form called the good, immutable, eternal. For him, a life aligned with truth, beauty, and justice is not optional, but essential. He worried that democratic societies would reduce virtue to opinion or popularity. In our age, the good is too often replaced by what's trending or what pays. Aristotle coined the term eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or well-being. He insisted that happiness is not a fleeting emotion, but the activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. It is cultivating habits of courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. Not grinding for prestige, but shaping a character worthy of delight. The Stoics teach something radical. You may not control externals, but you can control your judgments, your response. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic, wrote in private meditations, "The obstacle is the way." He asked, "What is in my power?" They remind us that when we fret over what we can't change, we sell our internal freedom. We need not confine ourselves to the Western canon. Buddhist insight says suffering comes from craving and attachment. Dante's light, Confucius's virtue, the Sufis' longing, all sing a common tune. The soul is restless until it finds its root. And in the modern era, thinkers like Dietrich Bonhoeffer remind us, in a world obsessed with success, the spiritual life is often the first casualty. Nietzsche warns of the last man, a consumer, safe, unthinking, numb. He challenges us to become authors of ourselves, to say yes to life's tension. So here's the contrast. Antiquity offers a map of inner terrain. Modernity offers speed, noise, busyness. One invites you inward, the other pulls you outward. I see you. You fear that your life is meaningless if it isn't making a difference. You push yourself into burnout, believing rest is weakness. You numb with distractions, screens, noise, comparison. You mask emptiness with purpose projects. You wonder, if I stop chasing, will I disappear? These are not moral failures. They are structural wounds. The world is set up to demand from your attention, your identity, your rest. And so you fragment yourself, never gathering your soul. What if the real revolution is not more doing, but more being? Not more validation, but deeper listening? You hesitate because you've been trained to believe your value is in what you produce. But the ancient whisper returns. You are enough as you are. Not for what you can do, but for who you are. You might object, this is all beautiful, but I still need to work, pay rent, survive. Good. The point is not to escape life, but to reorient how you live it. Let me show you 3 practical bridges, drawn from both worlds. 1. Pause, the sacred interrupt. The Stoics practiced prosos, attention or mindfulness. Plato's dialogues invite pauses of reflection. You can build micro-retreats, 5 minutes of silence, walking, breathing. In those moments, you shift from reactive human to conscious human. You find your center again. 2. Internal anchor, the true north. Ask yourself, what is your good? What is your guiding star? It might be truth, beauty, justice, love, kindness. When external success wobbles, this anchor holds. Like Aristotle's virtues, recipe for life must include more than ambition. 3. Active acceptance. Embrace the tension. Nietzsche teaches affirming even the struggle. The Stoics teach loving what happens. Amor fati. You accept that sorrow, loss, anxiety are part of the human condition, but you refuse to let them define you. You live in tension, not in denial. Let me tell you a story. The potter and the crack. A potter made a beautiful vase. After firing, she noticed a hairline crack. Rather than discard it, she filled it with gold, kintsugi. The crack does not mar the vase, it tells its story. It becomes part of its beauty. You too have cracks, loss, failure, regret. The modern world tells you to hide them. The ancients say, reclaim them. Let them be gold in your story. Here's a twist you rarely hear. Some suffering is inevitable, and even necessary. The ancient spiritual path often requires stirring of the darkness so the light within can awaken. Happiness is not a continuous upward slope. It is a horizon always ahead, felt in small encounters. It's not a product you can purchase. If you treat it as such, you will always come up short. Another uncomfortable truth. Am I responsible? You can blame society, capitalism, social media, your upbringing, but your life is your life. To reclaim it, you have to own your choices, even the small ones. That isn't a burden, it is the portal to freedom. Also, you will disappoint others. If you orient toward your inner star, people will misunderstand your silence, your boundaries, your rest. That's okay. The question is, will you betray yourself to avoid conflict? Finally, you are not supposed to be happy all the time. The ancients never promised perpetual joy. They promised a life of depth, meaning, virtue, and harmony. Sometimes you weep. Sometimes you rage. The goal is not to escape those, but to integrate them. Let me contrast 2 versions of you. The modern you wake at 5:30, scroll Instagram, rush through emails, coffee, meetings, deadlines, side hustle, just one more, sleep at 1 a.m. In between, anxiety, the queasy stomach, chasing dopamine hits, weekend recovery, repeat. The ancient infused you wake at dawn. Sit and breathe, light on the window, gratitude. You write 1 line in a journal. You work with diligence. You pause mid-morning. You reflect on 1 virtue, kindness, courage. You walk without phone. You respond rather than react. At night, you ponder. Did I live well today? You sleep with residual wonder. Which life is real? Which is more human? You don't have to overthrow modern life entirely, but you can weave threads of ancient rhythm so that you don't sever your soul from your body. I invite you to a 7-day experiment. Morning stillness, 3 minutes of silence. No phone, 1 virtue intention per day. 1 disconnect, leave the phone somewhere. Evening reflection, a single question. Did I live today toward my star? Gratitude in adversity. Find one thing to be thankful for, even in hardship. After 7 days, see what changes, not externally, but in your inner weather. The heaviness may lighten. The noise may quiet. You may feel a whisper, I am alive. You are not a machine. You are not a brand. You are a soul walking through time. The modern grind will devour you if you let it. But the wisdom of the ages whispers. Pause, listen, root, align. In the flicker between breath and thought, there is a doorway. Step through it. Claim your dignity. Embrace the cracks. Let your life be a carving toward truth, a testimony of beauty, a stance in love. Here's the lingering idea I leave you with. Happiness is not a pinnacle to ascend. It is the light you kindle in the depths, in small kindnesses, in courage when nothing is promised, in the clarity to see your own worth apart from applause. If you build your life from the inside out, the ancient and the modern may not be enemies. They may become dance partners. May you find your rhythm. Thank you for walking here with me. Take a breath and live.